So,
Thanks, Misa. Now I will pass it on to Jessica for our Vincentian story.
Hi, everybody. Can you all hear me? Okay, thanks for letting me know. I always panic, what if people don't hear me? And I keep on blabbering. But it's nice to be sharing this space with all of you again. And instead of sharing a story during this Vincentian segment, I decided to post a reflection question instead. So the question is, what is the most beautiful vision that you can imagine for DePaul or for the world? This question came up just because I feel like as SGA and as concerned citizens of the world, there have been so many movements happening around us and within us. We have our personal initiatives. So whether that change that we want to see is minor or radical, we all believe in that same idea, that this world could be better. So I just want to hear everybody, not hear everybody. You can type that in the chat if you feel compelled to do so. I'll also type in the question again. But the question is, what is the most beautiful vision that you can imagine for DePaul or for the world? If you could just take a minute to type that in the chat, or you can even say it out loud if you want to. But yeah, I'll stop talking. I'll type it in.
Well, I want to answer out loud just because, yeah, it's easier to talk rather than typing. But I think a world, what is it? The most beautiful vision for DePaul or the world that I can imagine. I guess everyone just approaching things with understanding and with compassion and love. That's how I think positive change can be made and how we can see a better world. So if anyone wants to go speak too, you're more than welcome to. Cool. Does anyone else want to share their thoughts with the Vincentian question that was posed?
I can go.
Okay, beautiful.
I was gonna say that a vision that would be really wonderful would be one where, culture is respected, where culture is valued, where money isn't the driving force for everything. One where, like Jessica said in the chat, where education is free for everyone, where everyone is able to, have an equal path towards what they want to accomplish. And what Camila said as well was very spot on. And what everyone else is saying is very spot on. So.
Thanks everybody for participating. If something comes up during the meeting, maybe you can type in a chat, you can message me. But yeah, I just wanted to post that question, and hopefully sometime in the school year, I will ask this again, just to track if this goals have been changed, this vision has already been achieved, stuff like that, just to hold ourselves accountable, hold the systems accountable. Thanks everybody for participating.
Thanks, Jess, for leading us through that and allowing us to reflect. Yeah, I really like that question. So it was nice to reflect on that with all of you guys here. So now we're going to move it on to our formation, which this week it'll be led by Ayu.
All right, so what we're gonna do is the Sixth Sense Doors activity. Have you ever played this game before? So it's anyone have heard this game before? Sixth Sense Door activity? No. All right, let's begin. So we're gonna split up the group into few group, right? Alyssa, is that what we're gonna do? Sweet. So I'm gonna tell you guys what it is. So each moment in our lives involves an experience. This experience comes into our awareness through six sense. These are seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, and the mind. Our mind door relates to all of our thoughts, emotions, and mental imagery. For the exercise, the group should sit in a circle. However, now we're not sitting in a circle. Out loud, each person has a chance to say what they're thinking, feeling, hearing, and seeing in the present moment. This does not have to be complicated. For example, right now I'm noticing that I'm hungry, my stomach is slightly aching, and I hear the sound of the car. And after each person has noted what is going on, the person will then name one of the six sense doors, like seeing, smelling, tasting, hearing, and feeling, and thinking. And for example, you may also say something like, right now I'm noticing my breath. So it's smelling. Then the next person has to note something that they are smelling. So does it make sense, everyone? Any question about that? And Alyssa or Kelsey will split this group into a few groups, and yeah, we can start.
Okay, I'm about to split us into breakout groups, folks, just randomly. But I just want to double check. Is it okay? It says 5 to 6 participants per room. Is that okay for this?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, great. I'm gonna go ahead and make those really quick, folks. Okay, hopefully you've been invited to a room. So there you go. Just another awkward silence on Zoom. We love to see it.
Should we break the silence?
Wait, what?
Should we break the silence?
We
I say, or Alyssa would say, let's bring back Max, right?
True. Yeah, you're right. Is that everybody? I think it is.
I think we've got everybody.
Oh, cool. I'm already unmuted. Okay, thank you, Ayu, for leading us through that. My group talked about milk a lot and its effects. Apparently, if you drink more than 3 cups of milk a day, your chances of death are higher. So I am significantly reducing the amount of milk I drink because I don't want to die. Yeah. Okay, with that being said, let's move on to our next order of business. I wanted to talk about the Constitution because it was something that was brought up last week. So just give me a second because I feel like I'm going to talk for a little bit. But yeah, so last week where we kind of ended weird, that conversation about vice president position. I know I listed it as 2 separate agenda items, but I'm just kind of combined them because they kind of relate since they were part of the same discussion. But in terms of talking about the Constitution, what I felt from last week was that things began to become very tense in the virtual room, which is not what I want from SGA. You know, I want us to all come here with a positive attitude, a positive environment, and also understanding what's going on. So what I felt was that a lot of things were moving really quickly, and from what I hear from other members, that they felt the same way too. Things were moving quickly. We weren't really sure about what was going on or what step we were on, just because everything started to get confusing. And Robert's Rules of Order, while it is meant to make sure that we are going at a certain step and making sure that we are organized, what it felt like last week was that we were very disorganized. And as chair, honestly, I'm doing my best to try to make sure that I'm helping facilitate the conversation, But I think there came a certain point where it just got out of hand, and it felt really tense after. And like I said, the conversation in the space that I want here is where everyone is welcome to say whatever they want and able to participate in the conversation and know what's going on. So last week, what happened was that the Constitution was suspended, which sounds really outlandish, right, and crazy, because I know for me personally, I was shocked at what was going on. It was uncharted territory because I've never been in that experience before. My whole 3 years into SGA, this is my 4th year going in. So basically my whole college career being in SGA, I have never experienced that. And I honestly didn't know what to do. And I'm sure a lot of other members were also confused as to what was going on. So I just wanted to address that and know that, like, you guys aren't alone. If you guys are confused, you're not alone, because I was also confused, and I needed to take some time to process. So I appreciated whoever tabled the conversation, because it gave some time for everyone to process, which was good. So basically, it shouldn't have passed, because per the resolution that we passed just before, or I believe, yeah, it was before we voted on vice president, or did the whole appointment process. Before that, we had passed the resolution, and in that resolution, it stated that we can suspend parts of the Constitution, but that's dealing with COVID-19, because that was the context of the resolution. And in addition to that, it required a debate about what parts needed to be suspended. So for us suspending the whole Constitution as a whole, it was out of order. Out of order, like chaotic, yes, but out of order as in Robert's Rules of Order, out of order. So that shouldn't have passed. So the Constitution is still here, and we are still functioning on the Constitution. So if that made anyone else a little bit anxious or unsure about what was going on, do not worry about that. I will say, though, also in addition to that, it required a supermajority and a debate on the topic. I'm not sure if I mentioned that, but just wanted to put that in there. But I realized that the intention of wanting to suspend the Constitution was, I believe someone wanted to suspend a certain part of the Constitution dealing with the vice president appointment process, which is where I will transition a little bit to that process, because it got a little out of hand last week. I want you all to know that I've really been focusing on making sure that I am following the Constitution to a T, just because it's like, I calculated it, it's my 16th day, I think, as vice president, so it hasn't even been a full month. And so I've been really relying on the Constitution to guide me, and following it to the best of my abilities. And so that's why we went with the appointment process, is because it clearly states in our Constitution, in the event of a vice presidency vacancy, we would go through the appointment process. So that's why I followed it the way that I did. Just wanted to give you guys a look into my mind as to why I decided to go that route. But a lot of people mentioned and brought up the concern about wanting to have the option to choose a vice president and weigh in as to who the candidates were, and who they wanted to select as vice president. So I have decided, or not really decided, I'm looking for everyone's input first. But something that I was interested in looking into was having an internal election for vice presidency. We have 5 candidates that submitted their applications in the past week or two. And so I would like to bring all those candidates to the table and allow GB to pick, just because one, it was messy, right, having appointments, because I had 2 people that I appointed, and in the end, that's when things began to unravel. So I think the appointment process was a little messy, so we're going to try it a different way if you guys are all willing to work with me and doing it that other way. Another reason why I wanted to follow the internal election process instead is it's also written in our Constitution that we can do an internal election. And then adding on to my list of reasons of wanting to do an internal election, I think when we were doing appointments, it became a conflict of interest to some people who also had applied for vice presidency and were taking a large portion of the conversation. And sorry, someone's calling me. Yeah, I think it became a conflict of interest to some people, and it shouldn't have been like that. We should all be entering this space with a positive attitude, like I said before, and also maturity, because we're all student leaders here. So we should be able to realize when things are a conflict of interest and when to bring certain things up. So we're all growing, I understand that, but I just wanted to mention that we should be cognizant of that and also being respectful to each other. Kelsey just went over the code of ethics the last meeting too, right, as part of our constitution and our expectations, which I personally think is the most important part of our constitution, and just most important part of being a human being is respecting others. So just a reminder that we should always be entering our spaces and our conversations with respect. So I wanted to see what your thoughts are about having an internal election, because it gives the GB more of a voice. And I also wanted to kind of run through the schedule of how everything is going to look. So if we do go the route of an internal election, and you guys would appreciate if you guys give me your thoughts and say that you appreciate that path, by Sunday, I am going to reach out to all of the candidates who had applied. There's 5 candidates in total, and ask if they are still interested in being considered for the vice presidency position. So I will reach out to them by tomorrow in the latest, and I will expect a response by Sunday at midnight, so that Monday, what you all will be receiving in the mail, or not the mail, the email, is everyone's resumes and everyone's cover letters, so that you can see all the candidates who had applied. So that goes out Monday, and you have a good 3 to 4 days to think about who you want to be as vice president and look at their qualifications. Thursday, we'll have a mini meet the candidate session like we typically do every election. And so during that meeting, we will give each candidate applying for vice presidency maybe around 2 to 3 minutes to just give a pitch about why they should be vice president. And as well with that, we will have a section where they will be asked questions of whether they're fit for the position or not. Then we will not be voting during GB. We will be voting starting right when we adjourn the meeting to midnight of that Thursday. So that gives us maybe 3 to 4 hours of you to think about it and to vote. We will only be accepting votes, of course, by voting members. So just keep that in mind. If you wonder why your vote didn't count, it's because we're only looking for voting members. A form will be sent to you. It'll be anonymous because we'll do it via secret ballot. And it will not be through a list of names, just because I know one concern is having one name listed before the other. You will type in the name. And so we will go through it that way. And then the next morning, Friday morning, we will announce who has been given and been blessed with the opportunity to serve as vice president of student government. So that's kind of the timeline that I was looking at, and I've really thought about how to proceed with vice presidency positions. And so I just wanted to hear if anyone else had any thoughts about any of this. So Francesca, you had your hand raised.
Yeah, I think this is a really great idea. And I just wanted to say, thank you to Alyssa, because you're being very flexible and you're actually listening to what the general body, what their concerns are, and what we kind of feel is the best way to move forward with this. And I also just wanted to say that this means that it's going to be a bit longer for you for holding down the fort all by yourself. And that's a really, really big undertaking. So you being able to do that for us so that we can feel like we are getting a vice president that we've all reviewed is something that's very humble, and it means that it's going to be a lot of extra work for you. So I really appreciate that.
Thank you. I appreciate that too. Does anyone else have any other thoughts that they'd like to say? Because I'm assuming then that you guys are okay with us moving forward with an internal election. Courtney?
Pending any other thoughts or conversation, what I might suggest doing, just to make sure that everybody's on board, is just to do a vote of a option 1 or an option 2. I think option 1 would be that we basically restart the appointment process as it previously happened in last meeting. And, Alyssa puts up an appointment, you interview a singular candidate. That is option 1, or what Alyssa just outlined as option 2. So I might suggest you all collectively, just because it's one thing to say like, is everybody okay with it? But nobody actually says anything, right, in Zoom meetings sometimes, and some people's videos are off. But just to, confirm that everyone in GB is on board for this, I might suggest doing even send Kelsey a message. I vote for option 1, or I vote for option 2. Option 1, again, I'm just going to say it one more time. Option 1 is how it was in the first meeting. Option 2 is this new option that Alyssa is presenting. So just a suggestion for the group to consider.
Cool. So can everyone then send the option they prefer to Kelsey? I know Kelsey's going to get spammed right now.
That's true as well, Marcus.
Oh, what did you say?
Up or down voice vote on internal election kills 2 birds with 1 stone.
Yeah, so just doing like a aye or nay
Yeah.
on whether we want to do the voice election or whether we want to do the internal election.
Okay, that sounds good.
Might be quicker.
All those in favor of doing an internal election, say aye.
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 Cool.
Was that you knocking the gavel? It wasn't, but it just sounded like it did, didn't it? Sorry.
I heard that too. I think something fell.
Sorry.
All those opposed? Yay! Okay, we're gonna do it the internal election way. So everyone gets to say as to who will be working as vice president, which I think is great because vice president really works a lot with you all, right? With the GB. So sorry, GB was hard to say for a second. So beautiful. We will be moving on with the internal election process. I'll be reaching out to all the candidates who applied by tomorrow, and then we'll be looking for feedback by Sunday. Carolina?
I apologize because this might be a dumb question, but I'm just like trying to think about like what could come out of this. Like, what would we do if there was like a 2-way or even 3-way tie?
The way that we dealt with ties in the past was that we just held an election again between the two who were left.
I actually think if it's a 2-way tie, though, I believe in your constitution it says that it's the president as the tiebreaker then.
Oh, okay. So maybe we'll do that.
Yeah. Well, but I think I think we have to go through and look a little bit further. We can go over in the next meeting exactly, because I'm not sure that your votes, I think we have to determine if the votes are going to be public or if they're going to be a private ballot as well. So we can do some more digging now that we have it approved to see whether it's a private ballot or a public ballot.
Yeah, I believe it's a secret ballot. Yeah, so Wesley mentioned it in the chat. Internal elections will be a secret ballot.
Yeah, so you wouldn't, and I guess just to clarify that then, thanks, Wesley. So even if it did then go, if it went to a tie, you all might not necessarily hear that. So it would be, again, like, because it's a secret, but you all will have a vice president by September 26th.
Yes, yay, we're so close. Okay, Johnny, you raised your hand.
Yeah, my question was, if there are 5 candidates and no one gets a majority, is it just a runoff then? Or how would that look?
Sorry, someone.
I would also say the 5, while Alyssa's reading that, the
Thanks,
5
Wesley.
candidates you don't have to apply, right? Like if you now have heard some of the questions and had a chance to learn more about this process, you don't have to apply. You don't have to say, yes, I'm still in the running. You can say like, you know what, I'm going to withdraw. And that's fine too. We might say 5 now, but we might not end up with 5 next week. And that is just fine.
Yeah, and Wesley mentioned it in the chat that plurality declares the winner.
Thank you.
Cool. Any other questions about the process? Cool. So get ready for next week because we are going to vote and get our vice president. Okay, beautiful. And then that person will start chairing our meetings and then starting things like CRB up. Speaking of CRB, I am going to transition to our special committees. I believe that is next on our agenda. So we are looking to fill up CRB, EOB, and J-Board. So a lot of acronyms, I know, but I'll explain them, don't worry. So CRB stands for Constitutional Revisions Board. basically what they do is they meet and help with constitutional revisions. It's right in the name. So before any of the constitutional revisions get proposed to GB, this committee will meet first and discuss what they want to move forward, and they'll also make some edits. They're allowed to make some edits to just edit the phrasing, if it could be said a better way, things like that. So basically this group helps like streamline the process a little bit and make sure that all of the constitutional revisions that they're getting is sorry, someone keeps calling me and I keep getting distracted, but they're just basically streamlining the process and also making sure that everything that is important and needs to be voted upon will be presented to GB. They also come up with a beautiful slideshow that we all see when we come voting for it. They show us what was the old version and then what is being proposed as an amendment. So for this, CRB gets chaired by the vice president, which we are yet to have, so almost there. And in the committee, according to our bylaws, we're supposed to have 3 to 5 members, not including the chair, and it's open to the whole student body. So, and at least 2 of those members have to be senators. So is anyone here interested in nominating themselves to be part of CRB?
Me.
Thank
Lisa, I have a question for you.
Mhm.
Can members of staff join?
Yeah.
Okay, then I'm also interested.
Beautiful. I should write your names down and we will something so. Okay. But so I see Wesley and Carolina's hand up as well, and Johnny.
And Kami.
And Kami. So I see, I can remember it. It's 5 names. So Misa, Kami, Johnny, Wesley, Carolina. Am I missing anyone? That's 5 already. This is for Constitutional Revisions Board. Beautiful. Okay, so we have 5 members. Usually the way that we deal with this appointment process is we send out 1 person out of the room at a time. Since we're functioning on Zoom, I just wanted to hear if you guys were okay with this. Can we just send all 5 out at the same time and vote that way? Just because dealing with breakout rooms is literally so annoying and it takes like 30 seconds. Cool, I'm getting thumbs up, so I won't even explain myself. You guys understand. Okay, so
I can send everyone to a waiting room. That's just.
Do you have a motion to move to discussion first?
Oh yeah, sorry.
Am I allowed to make the motion?
Yeah.
Motion to move to a discussion.
Beautiful. Yeah, you can send those 5 and then all of our guests to the waiting room, please. Or not the waiting room, oh, well, I almost admitted them back in.
Our guests as well, is that what you said?
Yes, please.
Okay. Sorry, it's a person by person basis, so bear with me for a second, everyone. Okay, did I miss anyone? Does anyone see anyone that I missed?
Jesselyn, you're on the phone, right?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so everybody else here is supposed to be here, I guess, right now?
Beautiful.
Okay.
And may I ask a quick question? This is when we are posting the final recording, this part would not be included, correct?
Yeah, just all the closed discussions that we have.
Okay, let me pause.
They're back.
Hey, congrats! You all are in CRB. It's awkward because I'm the only one clapping like with the mic. Thank you. Okay, cool. So we have CRB. Yeah, you guys will just have to wait for a bit as we're finding a vice president. And Constitutional Revisions Board is still a couple weeks away, so you guys won't be meeting yet. But yeah, thank you all for volunteering yourselves and helping make our Constitution better. Okay, the next thing we're going to vote for is EOB. So this is for Elections Operations Board. It is chaired by our elections coordinator, who has yet to be confirmed. We're just pending vice president first. But that will be led by Jane. And in this team, it's 3 to 5 members as well, according to our bylaws. And the one thing about this is you cannot be serving on the EOB and have the desire to run during elections, which I feel like is kind of an obvious, because, yeah. So if anyone here are seniors or like studying abroad next year, hopefully we'll see if that happens, and is interested in being a part of EOB, can you raise your hand, please? Or if you have any questions, just let me know. We need at least 3 members, and it can be anyone. Yay, Ari. Okay, so Ari's 1, Kelsey. I'm gonna write your guys' names this time. So I see Ari, Kelsey. I apologize. I realized we usually give you all a chance to explain why you want to be part of the committee. Erica. Is there anyone else? Am I missing hands? Cool. So I see Ari, Erica, and Kelsey.
Join me. It'll be fun.
Oh, did Robbie say yes?
Yeah.
Beautiful. Okay. Anyone else? I'm like flipping between screens. I apologize we didn't do this for CRB, but would you guys like to share why you want to be a part of EOB? Or someone could also just make a motion and we can vote.
Motion to move to discussion.
Beautiful.
Okay.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 All those opposed? Cool. Kelsey, can you send everyone to the waiting, or not everyone, sorry, send those folks to the, oh, you're part of the waiting room.
Yeah, I think I can send myself to the waiting room. We'll find out.
Thank you. Not, I might be able to.
Oh, I can't. Why?
Oh man.
Can you banish me?
I think because you're the host.
Oh,
Can you transfer the host back?
yes.
Zoom is so complicated. Bye. Oh, do I have, okay, cool. Beautiful. Okay. I think that's everyone.
Hold on 1 second.
Wait, I'm still here, by the way.
Oh, sorry.
Does Kevin need to go?
Yes. Sorry, Kevin.
And
I think this is everyone. Okay. So we are in the middle of discussion. So any
Can we pause recording?
Oh, thank you.
wait, oh, it already is paused.
Yeah, I paused it.
Okay. Anyone have any thoughts or would like to vote? Motion to vote by acclamation, hopefully, so that we can move this process along.
Motion to move to a vote by acclamation.
Second.
Okay, cool. Okay, sorry. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 All those opposed? My mom said aye. Also, I saw the chat. The recording says paused on my end. So I'm not sure if, yeah. So it says pause. So hopefully it is paused. That's what I see.
When I edit it, I'll make sure if this happened to be included in the file, I'll make sure and delete this.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate it. Okay. Sorry, it's hard because I have to keep looking at the chat sometimes. Okay. Cool. So we have an EOB now. So can we let them back in, please?
Or at least my sound.
Oh, sorry. Did someone say something?
Hello.
I think it was Kelsey wrapping up a thought in something else.
Sorry.
You're
Okay.
golden. Put it on the highlight reel for the end of the year of SGA bloopers.
Okay, we can, cool, we're recording again. Okay, so we have our EOB, yay! Let's all like clap for them. Beautiful. So we have Ari, Kelsey, Erica, and Robbie as EOB. The last thing we need to do is J board. This will be chaired by our parliamentarian, who is currently our executive secretary. They're also the chief justice. So for J board, it basically deals with any internal affairs. We rarely meet, or not we, well, because technically I'm not a part of it, but when I was on J board a couple years ago, like I spent the whole year and we had no problems. I just wanted to let you know about the time commitment. But I believe there were some cases last year that J board had to meet, and then the year before that, maybe a couple, but it's very few. So just wanted to give you a heads up. And someone correct me if I'm wrong, but I was reading through the bylaws and I did not see a limit as to how many people. Beautiful. Okay, so
Wait. I thought it had to be an odd number of people because of voting. So like if we vote to suspend somebody or something like that, it had to be odd numbered. But correct me if I'm wrong, Wesley.
I don't remember. I forget if we changed it to have Chief Justice vote or not vote. I don't honestly remember. We can check really quick, but
the bylaw said we would only vote if it was a tie. Sorry,
okay, then we can have whatever number we want then.
No, yeah, I thought it was a preference. Like it would be preferred if we had an odd number, but it wasn't like required.
Cool. So maybe we'll aim for an odd number. So this one is for members of GB only because we deal with internal elections for J Board. So same process, raise your hand if you're interested and I will write your name down.
I don't have my camera on, but I'm interested.
Okay, cool. Thank you. So I saw Watfa, I see Kami, Wesley, Misa, Robbie, and I will flip the page. Oh, Brandon, are you raising your hand? Okay, thank you. Sorry, I just can't tell. Sometimes I rest my head on my hand and then my teacher calls on me. Marcus.
Sorry to interrupt, but there's a question in the chat.
Oh, okay, thank you. What does J-Board do? Oh, so just basically any internal affairs or issues that rise up. So if someone's like disobeying the Constitution, we put that through internal affairs, or sorry, J-Board. Judicial Board. I forgot the J was an acronym as well. So stands for Judicial Board. Also, so like, I know last year we had things with attendance. So what to do when someone isn't meeting the attendance requirement that we have in the Constitution, that goes to J-Board. My freshman year, when there was a problem with the elections, they brought it to J-Board. Who chairs Judicial Board? It is the parliamentarian. Yeah, so it's going to be Kelsey. She's our executive secretary, and one of her hats under that position is chairing J-Board.
Cool. Alyssa, very quickly, do you mind if I ask?
Mm-hmm.
So as of right now, I have Kami, me, Wesley, Brandon, Marcus, and Robbie. Do you have anyone else? This is for the minutes.
Watfa, Kami, Wesley, Misa, Robbie, Brandon, Marcus is who I have. Oh, and Juliana. So I have 8 people. I'm going to read that name. Oh, Mason. Now we have 9. Now we're like the Supreme Court. Is there anyone else I'm missing? Perfect. That's an odd number. Okay, let me read that list again. Just let me know if I miss anyone. So I have Watfa, Tommy, Wesley, Misa, Robbie, Brandon, Marcus, Juliana, and Mason. Beautiful. So technically we're not like the Supreme Court because we're not counting Kelsey in this. Oh yeah, Kelsey? You're muted.
Sorry, I think Erica put in the chat.
Oh, sorry.
Erica, did you mean to do that?
I meant to send it to Misa, but I sent it to you by accident.
Oh, okay.
So are you interested, Erica?
Yes, please.
Okay, cool. We got a fun bunch. We got like 10 people, right? 9, not including Wesley. Is there anyone else I'm missing? Beautiful. Are there any motions to move to discussion?
Motion to move to discussion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 All those opposed? Beautiful. Kelsey, do you mind sending them to the waiting room again, please?
I might have to run through the list, or go through the list for me.
Watfa?
Hold on. Okay. Next.
Rami?
Next.
Wesley?
Next.
Misa?
Next.
Robbie?
Next.
Brandon?
Brandon. D-O-N?
Yeah.
Okay.
Marcus? Juliana.
Marcus R.
Yeah.
Only one this year.
Yeah, Marcus, I need to remove your co-host ability for a second.
I'll allow it.
Thank you. Alyssa, can you up there? Hold on, there it is. Okay, who's after Marcus?
Juliana.
Juliana. Okay.
Mason.
Oh, top row. It's like, where's Waldo?
Erica.
Okay.
And that was it. And I believe Kevin would have to be sent out, and Theodora as well.
Okay, Kevin. All right, and hold on.
Cool. I think this is everyone. Yay! So you guys are all part of J-Board. Congratulations. Cool. So I think that was one of the last things we had to do, just as like first, second meeting, beginning of the year type things. So I think we're ready to get the ball rolling with other initiatives. We no longer have to spend so much. Oh, well, we still need a vice president. I take it back. But we're almost there. We're almost there. So now we have CRB, EOB, and J-Board all put together. So I will reach out to the chairs, and you'll hear something from the chairs of each committee so that you guys are all not confused and are all one working group. So yay, we have that all set. So we have our special committees. Okay, sorry, there's a bug, so I killed it. Okay, next thing in our agenda is talking about the SGA IRMA working group, and I will yield to Misa.
Thank you so much, Alyssa. So hi everyone. I am the liaison for the SGA IRMA working group. And to provide some context, what this group does, basically we collect data that helps with any of the initiatives that you guys may have. So a good example that comes to mind is, for example, last year, WAFA was working on a Metra initiative where she was trying to collect data based on whether or not students actually wanted a Metra discount. So through collaborating with IRMA and being able to, have that. Yeah, woohoo, Metra discount. Yes, WAFA. But through being able to have that partnership, we were able to collect the data and we were able to see whether or not it was something that we wanted to work on. And so what we want to do now, we want to create an SGA needs survey where we talk about what SGA needs going forward. And so this survey wouldn't actually be released this year. It would be released for the following SGA. But we think it's very important to have this just because, there's many times when we step into our roles and many of us are like, I don't know what we're supposed to be doing. I don't know what, initiatives I should be doing. So this could help create some clarification, but also it could help us, continue building things that we had started in the past and that we want to finish going forward, certain things that may be very important. And so now what we want to do is create a group of other members of GB to be a part of this group. And what I need from you guys is that I need at least one person from each committee. So at least one person from academic affairs, student affairs, operations, and diversity and equity, because obviously we can have a survey that, for example, Jessica, you are the Senator for Division Ministry, and Camila, you're the treasurer. We cannot have a survey that, this is what the treasurer needs. This is what the Senator for Division of Ministry needs. And it needs to be a general survey of what we all need as an organization. So having one from each committee will help just have a more broad idea. So I have Francesca down. Is anyone else down? Johnny, yay. Jessica, perfect.
Misa, do you mind if I make a quick comment?
Yeah.
If I were a new SGA member, particularly one who hasn't been involved before, I think right now I might be wondering, there's a lot of cabinet or a lot of appointments and a lot of, volunteers we're looking for. My recommendation, and it seems that we're getting a lot of the same people for some of this. My recommendation might be if you're generally a person who's willing to try new things, volunteer for one of these, and I promise you are going to be you're going to learn as you go and learn throughout the process. So committees are a really great way for new members to, like new SGA members, to make connections and get involved. So even if you're like, I'm not 100% sure, but you know what Misa's talking about here kind of sounds interesting, try it. You know, like, again, this is a great way to just like learn more about the organization, because we're going to have a lot of different committees throughout the year. But yeah, just for what it's worth, I just want to encourage our new senators in particular to get involved.
Thank you so much, Horny. And to answer Wesley's question, I don't need just one from each committee. I want at least one from each committee, but I could have many from whichever committee it is. So as of right now, I have Francesca, Jessica, and Wesley. Is anyone else interested in joining? Also, Francesca, Jessica, and Wesley, are you guys all from different committees? Yes, awesome. Okay, and then I also have Juliana. So I have 3 committees serving. I need the final one, which I believe is, don't tell me, I want to figure this out. So Wesley's operations, Jessica, diversity and equity, Francesca, you are student affairs, academic affairs. Come on, that was my committee last year. What's happening? We can also just appoint someone later if that's what people are comfortable with. But it'd be helpful if I had at least one person from academic affairs now. So.
Lisa, you can go ahead and put my name down, and then I'll talk to my committee and see if anybody else is interested at a later time.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Keith. All right. Well, thank you everyone for listening, and I'll keep you updated on what we do with the group. As the weeks progress, I'm going to be going to your committee meetings, seeing that they are open to everyone, just so I can also have an overall understanding of what each committee needs. But thank you so much. Yeah.
Cool. Thanks, Misa. I'm really excited for that group because it'll help kind of get a gauge about what students are interested in or what students need, more importantly. So thank you all for those who volunteered themselves to be part of that committee, or working group, I should say. Okay, so next part of our agenda, we'll be talking about the SHRAC resolution that Wesley brought up, I think, in the Slack. I will say, though, that, and I mentioned this to Wesley, that we'll be saving voting for next week, but I wanted him, or he wanted to introduce it so that you guys could get a sense of all that's going on with SHRAC. So I will yield to Wesley.
Yeah, can I share my screen just so I can show everyone what it looks like?
Sure.
I don't know if I have screen sharing. All right. So yes, I mentioned in the Slack as well, but I don't know if everyone is familiar with the Google Drive. Any of our new people, I don't know how familiar you are. My committee wasn't, so they mentioned it to me. This is on the Google Drive, so after the meeting, if you want to take a look at it before next week, feel free. So in short, obviously, like, I also do not want to vote on this tonight either. There's still some parts I kind of want to work out a little bit. And Alyssa mentioned, like, we already kind of agreed on some stuff, but we're not going to vote on it. I just want to introduce it to you as kind of just like what the general premise of it is, and I'm recommending all of you to spend 10 minutes maybe in between now and next Thursday taking a look at it, just because it's on the longer side. I don't want to go through all the, every single clause on here. It's like 4 pages. I want to call attention specifically to this appendix here. So this is like the text of kind of like a statement. We put out statements as like the cabinet this year. If you're following Instagram for SGA, you've obviously seen those. So this is one I kind of drafted up, but I want opinions on this just because like that's would probably be the thing that most people will see, because that's kind of related to part of it. We're putting out a statement, which would be this one down in Appendix A. For the most of it, basically, the resolution is talking about increasing seats that students hold on SHRAC. So SHRAC, we talked about it last week a little bit. That is the Strategic Resource Allocation Committee. They go through kind of the budget planning process. They have a lot of different things that they I wouldn't say a lot of things they do, but like incredibly important, obviously. I could go through all those reasons, but it would take me forever. You could read, all of them are listed pretty much in this resolution too. So you can find them there. That's pretty much it. Unless someone had any questions you want me to answer now about what's something I didn't explain. Otherwise hopefully everyone will be able to take a good look at it before next week, and then we can kind of hit the ground running, debate, and then vote on it next week.
looked at it before the meeting, and I thought you covered a lot of good points. And there was a couple of like minor like typographical things I would fix, but I guess we have time in the next week, right?
Yeah, if you just want to like put those like as like a comment on the like, if you want to just comment them, or honestly if it's a typographical thing, just fix it. I don't really care. So just do that. And if anyone, I mentioned in the Slack too, if anyone's like really behind this and want to be a co-sponsor, as I said, is just like, I support this. Feel free to honestly just add your name on there. It's on the drive, or let me know when I can add your name. But that is pretty much it for this resolution. We'll talk about it more next week, obviously.
Cool. Thanks, Leslie. So I will actually hand it back to Leslie for our next agenda item, which is Sustainability Ad Hoc Committee. And yeah, so I believe they've been working throughout the summer already, but we do need to vote on any ad hoc committees that we have here in SGA. So I will yield back to Leslie.
Cool. I just pulled up the resolution. So I just wrote this resolution just so people can kind of get an explanation for it. I could go through this one since it's only like a page and a half. Basically, we were meeting over the summer. I kind of was getting a bunch of people who are interested in sustainability, kind of going. I was, emailing. We've had a lot of conversations with faculty, some staff, getting actually like the SGA working group that we were just talking about, the data one, getting them involved as well in terms of finding more information about sustainability. And really, this is just like to have the official committee if we want to say put a resolution out, or kind of just to like also get students involved in a more like focused way, or kind of like official way in some ways. It also would say if we need to use, if we wanted to have money given to the SGA Sustainability Committee, like kind of the name of it, we could do so in some ways. It would be taken from operations funds just because sustainability probably fits best under operations. So this is kind of explaining that. Does anyone have any questions about it? I can keep presenting it. It's pretty simple. It just creates the sustainability group that we've kind of been meeting with as an official ad hoc committee. We can invite students and whatnot. So any questions?
Motion to move to a discussion?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 All those opposed? Beautiful. So let's move to discussion. Kelsey, do you mind sending our guests to the waiting room, please? I think I could do it as well. I think maybe she stepped out. Is it, oh, so we just have 2 guests today, correct? Okay. Bye, Theodora. And then Kevin. Bye, Kevin. Did I miss anyone? I don't think I did. Beautiful. We are in discussion and the recording is paused. Any thoughts?
You had a question, Alyssa.
Oh, okay. Is it in the chat?
Oh, no, sorry. It was to me.
Oh.
Just kidding. You're good.
Okay, cool. So we're in discussion. Any questions? Any thoughts? If not,
I do have one question. So how does this expand upon like the committee that Hannah had last year? And what's the role of the Senator for Sustainability as part of this? Because I know the committee proposal that she drafted for the Committee for Sustainability had the, I'm just curious how it compares to that work that she did last year.
I guess I don't really know much about what Hannah was doing, frankly, last year in terms of that committee. She shared some of it, but I don't know the exact specifics. I think the one that's different with this one is just like, is more students, I'm gonna say student center, but like this is kind of space for students to kind of come up with plans, and then we could perhaps have that additional group. I don't really know much about what that group's been up to, if anything, frankly, so I don't really know.
If I can step in, I worked with Hannah a bit last year, and I'm helping Wesley with this work now. From what I understood, like Hannah's really big goal for like her group last year was to not only have like SGA working on it, but to find like a coalition on campus. So I know that she had been in contact with like Caitlin, and then also with the folks that came to speak with us. That one time, I don't know if you all remember last year, there was a group that came to speak with us that was advocating for like a sustainability officer at DePaul. So we've kind of run with that, and honestly, I see a lot of similarities between Hannah's and ours because we're trying to build coalitions as well. Like we're reaching out to other groups on campus that should be involved in these conversations. And like, again, I'd be happy to reach out to Hannah and talk to her a little bit more about if there's any like larger things that she wanted from it. But like, as far as I'm seeing from like what she had spoken to me about it last year and what we're implementing this year, the goals seem pretty similar and the structure does as well, if that's helpful.
Yeah, I actually just found the document that Hannah created around it last year. Or actually it was back in October of last year. Caitlin even made it before she had left. I can put it in the chat for at least some of the, like the root of it. I can figure out how to do that.
Thank you, Courtney.
Yeah.
Motion to move to a vote.
Second.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 All those opposed? Okay, cool. Is Kelsey here? I believe it'll
Yes.
be roll call.
Hello. Okay, let me pull up my voting sheet, and then hopefully everyone that's here, I can hear them and understand what they're saying. I think maybe if I call your name, I will like say your vote back to you to make sure that I've got it, just because I think Zoom can be messy that way. So yeah. Okay. Let's see. It's hard for me to double look, so I have to minimize my screen a little bit. Okay. Carolina?
I voted aye.
Ah. Okay, aye. Camila?
Aye.
Okay. Mariana?
Aye.
Jenna? Is she here?
She's not.
Okay, thank you. Juliana?
Aye.
Thank you. Aye. Erica?
Aye.
Okay, aye. Mason?
Aye.
Okay, aye. Miranda?
Aye.
Thank you. Wesley?
Of course, aye.
Aye, okay. Drew? Is Drew here?
Not here.
Okay, thank you. Francesca?
Aye.
Okay, aye. Robbie?
Aye. So,
Aye. Johnny? Or John?
Aye.
Okay.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Ayu?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, Jessica?
Aye.
Aye. Keith?
Aye.
Okay, aye. Marcus?
Aye.
Okay, aye. Saba?
Aye.
Okay, aye. Brandon?
aye.
Aye. Whoa, that was an interesting echo. Brianna?
Aye.
Aye. Judy? Maybe not. Is Judy here? I guess not. Okay. And lastly, Wafa.
Aye.
Okay, aye. The ayes have it. Motion passes.
Yay, we have a sustainability ad hoc committee. Cool. Let's wait for our guests to join us again.
Can I make a statement really quick? If I mispronounce anyone's name
or CAF be really existing right now. It's up in the air still for winter quarter. Obviously, we don't have anything determined to see what's going to happen, and we never really know what's going to happen. So we kind of talked about how there is still money, though, and we do want to talk about encouraging not only student groups but also cultural orgs to apply for funding. So they have to submit an application, and what they talked about is tier 1 and tier 2 type of funding. Tier 1 is up to $2,500, and for that you would need to submit an application 2 weeks in advance to whenever you would need the funding for, and you would receive an answer within 48 hours. And then the other tier, you would need to submit an application 7 days in advance, and that is up to $500. So basically the funding is for orgs who kind of circle around and kind of their sole purpose is to do such thing that involves funding. So the example that they gave me is like mock trial. Mock trial, obviously their sole purpose is to compete. So if a competition costs money and they need funding, then obviously they will receive that funding. So that's kind of what I really wanted to update you guys on. Also, they wanted us to include that information in the SGA newsletter, just because they haven't received a lot of applications and they want students and orgs and groups and just DePaul to know that there is money available, that they just need to, submit an application if they do need funding or want funding. Also, they asked us to put that on our SGA Instagram, and for just y'all and for me to reach out to folks personally, individually, like, hey, like you're in this club, or you're the president of so-and-so, or you're involved in whatever. Did you know that you can apply for SAFB or CAFB funding, whatever. So students are more aware, obviously. And there's also a link to the application process and the website that they have all that info on that I will put in the chat. But that's really all I had. If y'all have any questions for me, please feel free to ask.
I believe Jessica raised her hand.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that, Kami. I recently applied for that application for a cultural org that I'm a part of. And I just wanted to note and remind everybody that before you can submit an application, the e-board's president and treasurer, I believe, need to take a quiz. So you can't fill out the application. I mean, you can, but it's not going to be approved. So it's just a reminder, when sharing that information, they need to take the quiz first before filling it out.
Thanks. I also saw Ari's hand up.
Okay. I was just gonna ask if you could send that to me directly, on Slack or something. Sorry, I don't have a computer right now, so I'm working on my phone, so I can't really save anything. It's really weird. And then yeah, I know that SAFB and all of those requirements are not really accessible or just kind of confusing for a lot of orgs. So if anyone knows the breakdown and how exactly to go through those processes, to send those to me so we can communicate those well and transparently with orgs that are interested in applying. But yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other questions for Kami? Nope. Okay, thanks Kami for explaining all that to us. I know I'm always confused with CAFB and SAFB. Beautiful. So we're almost done with our meeting, moving a lot faster than last week. So the next thing would be our president's report. So one of the things I wanted to talk about was listen, learn, change, which is something that DAB Social Change is organizing. It's an event. And they want to partner with us, and I would love to partner with them because I think it sounds like an amazing event. So basically, this is a panel discussing racial justice and what students can do, and then it's also the importance of voting, kind of similar to our civic engagement and social action series going on. So also, Chicago Votes will be collaborating in this event, and it will occur on Wednesday, October 7th, from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. Basically, all they have kind of organized is that it's a panel discussing what I just mentioned. They're still working out all the kinks and trying to plan for this. So is there anyone here that's interested in helping out with that? Because they asked for members who would be interested. Beautiful. What quiz? Okay. I spelled listen wrong. Oh, gosh. Okay. And I spelled learn wrong too. I just can't spell. So Watfa, and then Ari. Do you have a question, or are you raising your hand?
No, I'm interested. Sorry.
Thank you. Beautiful. So we have Watfa, Ari. I'm trying to see if anyone else has raised their hand. Beautiful. Is there anyone else that I'm missing?
Lisa did.
Oh, cool. Thank you. Sorry. Sometimes I don't see when people raise their like human hand. Did Wesley raise his hand? I saw like, okay. I feel like the slightest movement, then I'll look. Cool. Is there anyone else that I'm missing? Okay, thank you. I'll reach out to you guys tomorrow or soon. I don't want to give a date or else then you might be waiting for it. Beautiful. So we're excited about that. The next thing I wanted to talk about is restarting campus operations. So the ones who are currently it's just me sitting on it, so I will appoint. I still have to figure out what's going on with appointments. I'm still working on that, so just give me a couple days. I'm still working on appointments and committees and trying to organize all of that. But restarting campus operations, originally it was Giselle, Drew, and I who was representing students in that committee. Basically, the committee is, my laptop died like the last meeting, so I felt really bad because I just dropped it. But basically, it's just a lot of like logistical things that are going on right now. Just so that you guys know, oh yeah, Courtney?
Yeah, can I give a more in-depth overview of the Restarting Campus Operations Committee? Is that okay?
Yes, that would be perfect.
Yeah, so the Restarting Campus Operations Committee is broken up into 4 sections. Facilities, human resources, academics, and student engagement or student affairs affiliated issues. So Alyssa and Drew sit as a member of that large group that hears those updates from all 4 of those subcommittees. So they hear that it's about a group of about 35 people that we meet weekly. Then on top of that, there are subcommittee, so then those 4 places or those 4 areas are 4 subcommittees, and then there are subcommittees to those subcommittees. So Alyssa and Giselle previously had also serve as members of our student engagement subcommittee. So it's talking about the direct student experience, which is where we're coming up with like some ideas and policies and using that as a frame of reference. So that's a little bit about the pipeline of what the SGA membership looks like as part of that committee. And then obviously they have the opportunity to listen in on the updates from and contribute to the other groups as well. Like HR, I mean, it's mostly HR stuff for faculty and staff. Academics talks about the scheduling of classes, updates for that, like how many can happen at different times throughout the day. Facilities obviously helps to make decisions like the plexi that's been installed all over campus, turning off the water fountains. They actually have a 65-page document of all of their updates, so I'm not going to tell you all of them. And then student affairs is this side of it. So just a more in-depth look, if that's okay, Alyssa.
Cool, thank you. That's a lot better than I would have like explained it, especially because I haven't been able to attend all the meetings throughout the summer, but I'm slowly trying to come back to them. Beautiful. Okay, so the next thing I'd like to talk about is the involvement fair. That's tomorrow. And so I just want you guys to know that the online booth is already set up. I did my best. I don't really understand it completely, but hopefully I did it and it works. I do have a random question because I can't say for the whole thing, but the link that I provided, the Zoom link I provided, was of course like from my own account, but I have other meetings. Am I allowed to do both? The Zoom let me do 2 meetings at once?
You'll have to make whoever the next person is the host of the meeting. You'll have to transfer the host permission to them so that when you're able to join other meetings.
Oh, okay. And then when they become host, they can transfer it to whoever.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Beautiful. Okay, so that works perfectly. So I won't be there the whole time. I'll try to pop in like in between meetings when I can, but I still need a couple more volunteers. We have from 11 to 3, we have at least one person for each. I'd love to have 2 people in each hour so that they're not alone. But specifically, I need members from 3 to 6 because there's just no one there. So is there anyone here that is free sometime between 3 to 6? You can take an hour or 2 hours. Yay. Kelsey, are you free?
I am free. I have class until noon, but obviously I'm free for like the later time period.
Would it be too much for you if you're there for 3 to 6, or do you just want like an hour or 2?
I can do that.
The whole thing? Cool. Thank you. I appreciate you. Okay, Misa, are you free at a specific time?
I am free from 3 to 4. I don't know if that's helpful.
That's beautiful. Kelsey's not alone for the whole 3 hours. Okay, so you're free from 3 to 4. If you guys want, I also have a GB, or sorry, in the GB folder under events, I listed the involvement fair there. So if you guys want to take a look at that as well and are interested, I'll put like the Zoom link there, and I'll also put a link to the online booth. Just let me know if there's any problems with any of that because it's new. So I'm not even sure if I filled it out correctly, but hopefully I did. Is there anyone else who'd be interested? Cool.
I can also do 3 to 4.
Cool. I have no idea who said that. Sorry, Brandon, did Brandon say that? Thank you. Okay. Anyone else interested in serving or like helping out in the virtual booth? It's not as fun because, or I mean, it's fun of course, but in person is more fun because you can also go around and get free stuff from other booths. But cool. So if there's no one else, just let me know if anyone else is interested or like pop in. Even if you can't stay for the whole hour, if you guys can pop in for like a couple minutes and just see what's going on, say hi to your fellow GB members, or if there are guests in the room, say hi to them and tell them that SGA is a fun group of people who do important things. So just encourage students to join and get engaged. Beautiful. So that's it for the involvement fair. I also did want to mention about Shrek, but since we're voting on the resolution next week and talking about it, I'll probably just save it for then. The last thing I'd like to bring up is the DePaul.edu emails. So Kelsey is still waiting for, I believe, 6 people to send those to her. And I realized that Marcus sent it in the Slack that some people are having trouble accessing their DePaul.edu emails, or maybe getting like a bunch of messages from something else going into their DePaul.edu. I don't really understand the technical side of all of it. But if you're having troubles with your DePaul.edu email, do you mind just telling Kelsey so that we know that we're still waiting and that's not the reason why we haven't heard anything from DePaul.edu emails? If you can, and you're one of those 6 people who have yet to send it, can you message her right now, please? It makes it easier on our end when we're sending you all weekly emails. We are going to shift it to our DePaul.edu emails. And also for SGA, whenever we're messaging like faculty, staff, admin, other students, we usually use our DePaul.edu emails. It makes it a lot easier to also find us in the directory. So that's usually our go-to contact. So are there any questions about that? If not, when you can, please send that to Kelsey. So hopefully we can start sending things through your DePaul.edu emails. Beautiful. So that wraps up my president's report. So I will shift it over to advising with Courtney and Ariel.
Great, thanks, Alyssa. I don't have any SGA affiliated announcements, but we are working on something in student involvement, which I'll, share in case anybody's interested. The library every year contributes to or plans a banned books week. So BANNED, a banned books week, not like musical instruments band. But we are working on creating a panel for students to talk about lessons in leadership that they've learned from banned books. There's probably books on that list that you don't realize, like, Harry Potter's shown up on it, Fahrenheit 451, The Things They Carried, To Kill a Mockingbird, a lot of books that you've probably read over the years as well. So we're looking to get a panel of students, faculty, and staff together. So we're looking for, 2 to 3 students who are willing to participate. You don't have to be an expert. You just have to be willing to like engage in conversation, especially if you're a reader. If you're interested and willing to participate, if you could just either shoot me a message here in the chat and I can follow up, or send me an email, that'd be great. I have more information too, if you're interested. But yeah, I would be, you know, hopefully we can find a couple folks that are willing to talk a little bit about it. And then obviously, you know, Alyssa talked a little bit about the involvement fair tomorrow. I would encourage all of you to just go and check it out as a general student participant. Like we have over 150 students, student organizations that have put booths together. So even if you are not interested, I think it's a really great opportunity for you as SGA to go and meet people that you are serving, right? So like, go and see some of the different organizations that are there and introduce yourself. And if you're really interested in finding out about like students and their experience, this is going to be a great way to do it, because there's going to be a lot of students sitting in Zoom rooms for 7 hours hoping to talk to people. So if you didn't see in the chat, you can go to dhub, which is just dhub.depal.edu, to find out more and to check out some of those groups. But again, I'd encourage you to check it out, but I'll turn it over to Ariel.
Hello, good to see everybody. Not too much to report either. I had my first set of one-on-one meetings with about half of you, and it was a blast. I'm really, really enjoying getting to know all of you guys. So excited to hopefully meet with the second half of all you guys next week. And yeah, I guess one thing I have kind of noticed is if you guys aren't paying attention to your Slack messages, try to pay attention, because I've noticed there's a lot of times where people are asking for like help or volunteers, and I know you guys are really busy, but sometimes people are looking for like just like very short time commitments, and it is always helpful for your fellow SGA members. So just a friendly reminder. Thank you.
Thank you. Also, if there's things that you're putting in the Slack and you want the rest of GB to know, you can always just message me and I'll put you in the agenda so that you guys can share it with everyone here. Yeah, and then also again with Slack, just make sure your notifications are on, just because I know that I think the automatic setting is not to have it on. So just adjusting that, because yeah, so that you can know when things are happening. Beautiful. So the next item on our agenda is affirmation. So I introduced it last week, basically just messaging someone else an encouraging thought. Yeah, that's basically all it is. And it has to be a different member each time, so that you get to share and meet other people that you generally don't talk to. So we'll take a minute for that. Should I play music? Yes, okay. Well, I'm gonna play the same song that I've been listening to the entire day. Okay, so we'll take a couple minutes to that. If no one knows, this song just released this week by Max Schneider, featuring Suga from BTS, called Blueberry Eyes. Okay, cool. I didn't get to finish the song, but it's okay. I'll probably re-listen to it later anyways. And then if you guys are still working on your affirmations, feel free to finish up. Is there any new business that anyone wants to bring up?
I have a question. Is this the place I could ask a question?
Yeah, sure.
I know usually at the involvement fair we talk about fall elections. Do we have a timeline for that yet?
That's a good question. We do not have a timeline. Is Jane here? I'm not sure if a timeline was set.
Yeah, so there was a tentative timeline. We're actually getting really close to when that would start. And so I am actually not confirmed yet. So until I'm confirmed, elections can't happen. So everything's being postponed to at least at least 1 week from where I had it. And so I had originally my first, let me pull it up, my first, to be really quick, I was going to do some EOB meetings, and then I was going to do info sessions, and then I was going to get straight into elections, and I was hoping that I would be able to get them done before midterms. I don't think that's going to be the case now. So let me just, my first meeting that I wanted to have was going to be on Monday. And so since I'm not confirmed yet, that's not happening. So I would look for an update, I guess, by GB, hopefully next Thursday by the time I'm confirmed. And then I can, if maybe I could get a second in GB to talk and just give a little timeline. I know that that would help. I'm sorry that I can't give more information on that. Everything's just being pushed back a little bit, so.
If everyone's okay with it, I mean, you're still welcome to, because you've been serving in your role already in the summer. It's just waiting for a confirmation by GB, which is kind of like a formality. So if everyone is okay with it, because I know elections are a lot of work, you're more than welcome to start meeting on Monday and doing whatever needs to be done. No need to wait until your actual confirmation.
Okay, great. That's great to hear. Didn't know that.
Wait, I have a question. What date do you have elections beginning?
The day I have elections beginning is Thursday the 8th.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think that works out fine then.
Okay. Then I will get in contact with my EOB like today. And then great. So then if we're able to meet starting on Monday, then the timeline, what I have, is I've got EOB meetings the 21st, 22nd, and then October 1st. And then info sessions for the candidates are going to be Thursday the 24th, Tuesday the 29th. And then I hope to not have another info session after that. It should be getting done in 2, and then, but if not, then we can do a third one. And then, so these are all just tentative dates. These are everything that I'm thinking. And then after that, have all my materials in by the 2nd, and then everything to IS by the 5th, and then hopefully elections can go live by the 8th. And then they'll go from noon on the 8th till Saturday the 10th, before noon. So that's a very tentative schedule. And yes, Courtney, I will totally contact you about getting all that info into D-Hub and everything. So.
Sorry, I have one more question. Is there a reason we're starting or ending the elections on a Saturday?
No.
Okay, just because the only reason I ask, IS isn't going to pull the results of the election on a Saturday. They would probably pull them Monday morning at 9 a.m. So if you want to end on a weekend, there's no harm in giving people an extra day to vote until
Sure.
Sunday, just as an FYI.
Okay, good to know. Thank you.
Cool. Thank you, Jane, for all the work that you're doing with elections. Sorry that we can't confirm you yet just because things are weird with vice presidency vacancy, but I just appreciate all the work that you're doing currently, even though we're still pending pending to confirm you. Are there any comments for the good of the order? I see Marcus.
Yeah, just wanted to reiterate, anybody who didn't see my Slack message, the DePaul is looking into a rash of students not getting, all their emails they're supposed to in Blue Mail. So if that sounds like you, let me know. We'd like to shine as much light on that problem as possible, since that's like the main channel of communication the university is trying to use. So yeah, just let me know if that sounds like you, or if you know anybody who isn't getting all of the emails.
Thank you. Johnny?
Hey there, something that's come to my attention, and could you just relay to faculty or staff council, whichever is the appropriate one, that most students don't have printers in their homes. So if they can minimize the work that needs to be like printed out and either like handwritten or like brought to class. Yeah, that's just come up for me.
I second that so strongly.
Cool. Thank you guys for bringing that up. I will bring that up. Yes.
I might also suggest your cabinet that met with Scott Paith over the summer. There was an open invitation to contact him if you all need anything. So as the president for faculty council, Alyssa, perhaps you can send him an email and just say like, we've had this copy cabinet. And then I think like cabinet, if you can reiterate that a little bit, I think that might help that conversation instead of just one singular comment. When they hear student experiences, that really, really helps.
Beautiful. Okay, I will send him an email tomorrow. And then Ari?
Yeah, just a couple things. I think Kelsey sent out in the email just like a link to like Google Forms on like if you're comfortable with being featured on the SGA account. Just fill that out and then yeah, I'll share information onto the SGA account. Also, I'm sorry I haven't been like working in a timely manner on like graphics and stuff. I don't have access to a computer right now. And then also, sorry, I'm like all over the place. I should stop drinking coffee at 6 p.m. Jessica's like Seeds of the Mission campaign. Just follow up with her. I don't think a lot of people responded to her Slack message, but Mission Ministry is really interested in like just getting SGA voices and like how we implement the mission in our everyday lives. So please get those to her. I don't know if Jessica, you want to say anything. But yeah, just wanted to like reiterate that. I think the deadline for that is tomorrow.
Thank you. Jessica, did you want to add anything with the Seeds of the Mission?
Yeah, thanks Ari for that reminder for everybody. So I'm accepting videos or even just a quote, and I'll just make the graphic out of that if you're not comfortable like filming yourself. I know it can be very awkward just like looking at a screen and then like showing that to everybody. So if you're more comfortable with just sending me a quote, that would be perfect. Please send that to me by tomorrow at the latest. Thank you.
Thank you all. Are there any other comments for the good of the order? I see Nisa.
Yes. Hi everyone. I meant to have said this when we were talking about the Shrek resolution. But very quickly, I want to talk about COS, the Chief Staff Network, which is what I, Alyssa, and Courtney sit on monthly. And this network basically is the chief of staffs of various departments, student affairs, academic affairs, and we talk about certain issues that the students have, and one of the, such as the track resolution, how we can work on that to add more student states on track. So that's mainly partly the reason why we wanted to push back to voting on that specific resolution, so we can talk to COS first, and then we can start work. So we can start working with them first and talk with them first, and then we can see if we can move along instead of going straight to a resolution. I don't know if Alyssa and Courtney want to add anything else.
Just if folks, I know Misa talked about the categories, but the people that meet as part of it are Steve Stout, who's the president's chief of staff, Alyssa Kupka, who's the chief of staff to the provost, Betty Shanahan, who her formal title is Associate Vice President for Planning and Operations, but she in a lot of ways serves as Jeff Bethke's Chief of Staff, and then Ellen Meaton-Stakany, who is Jean Jarsky's Chief of Staff as well. So those four people, they're oftentimes the way that they put it is like they're the behind the scenes. Like when the provost says like we will make that happen, the chief of staff is actually the person who's writing it down to do it. So Misa and Alyssa are really working to nurture that relationship so that when you all have things or like you have concerns, they can bring them up there too. So Misa sends updates like the Shrek issue. I think I messaged him about this. I think like the printing issue is a great one to bring up to that group as well. Like things like that. So they can help move things along so that you all don't always have to necessarily move to a resolution. Like the hope, as Steve Stout put it, is for us to get to this point of like, you all have a concern, bring it to them like as soon as we can so that they can help and remove barriers and make things easier for students. So this group has never met before, not even like the chiefs of staff haven't met before. This is the first time like they are convening as a team as well. So I'm really excited to see how it goes. And Misa and Alyssa, even today, had some great conversations with them via email. I was just lucky enough that I get to be on the chain. So it'll be good. It'll be great.
Great. Yeah, thank you for bringing that up, Misa. I'm sorry, I almost forgot about it. And thank you, Courtney, for putting that group together. It's been really helpful. Are there any other comments or questions and concerns? Beautiful. I'm going to scroll through. I don't see anyone's hands up. So I motion to adjourn this sorry. I thought Marcus had a concern. I motion to move this meeting or adjourn this meeting at 7:40.
All right, just a quick question. I just wanted to ask, when the meetings are being recorded, like where are they posted afterwards, and like how soon like are they put up?
So this will be the first one that's posted, and it was totally my fault, I will be honest. The last week's video processed, and then my computer was at its full memory, and I deleted about 90 recordings from my computer, and this happened to go with it. So I apologize. The first meeting was mistakenly deleted by me. But I think that what we're going to be doing, and Marcus, correct me if I'm wrong, we're going to create an SGA YouTube channel that they'll all be in, and then the links will also be posted in the D-Hub page.
Yes.
Cool. Thank you both for your help with that, by the way. We're YouTubers now, guys. Are there any other questions, comments, concerns? Beautiful. Then I move to adjourn this meeting at 7:45 p.m. All those in favor?
Say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Beautiful. Have a nice night. Bye.
Bye, everyone. Bye.